Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, look, we're back with a big update about Pokémon Card 151. And I know it was only yesterday that I came and I was like, hey, I've got a big update about Pokémon Card 151. But what do you want? There's been half a dozen new cards revealed, including a new EX, and a card that is going to see a redonkulous amount of play. This is awesome. And if we take a look at Zapdos to begin with, this was revealed by being put on like a piece of card and displayed in the Pokemon Center. An unrevealed card just being put up as a display in a Pokemon Center in Japan. That's kind of awesome. Like, just wander into the shop and be, met with a picture of a card that's never been revealed anywhere else before. That's kind of amazing. I'm into it. I'm down with this. I don't love reveals on a Saturday. I'll be honest with you. Saturday's a bit of a family day. But you know what? Kids are having a bit of lunch. I've got an hour spare. I think I can make it work, ladies and gentlemen. I'll make an exception just for today. So starting off then, we've got ourselves Zapdos. I did do the translations myself here, though I did chat with the lovely Primal Lugia and the lovely Antoine Boulet. And I will say, Antoine did have to bail me out with Chansey. I'm a little bit sad. That is probably the hardest to translate card we've had so far in the Scarlet and Violet era. And in fact, if we actually take all three of the birds, because all three of them have gone and been revealed, they've all got the same ability. And the ability says, if they have the right energy on, obviously it's lightning for Zapdos, water for Articuno, fire for Moltres, they have no retreat cost. So basically, as long as you're not just putting them on the field for no reason, they all end up with free retreat. They've all got a retreat cost of 2. It goes down to 0 with the right kind of energy. Not a reason to play the card, but a handy little bonus. Now, Zapdos is the EX among them, and we've got free energy, 120, and you also get to do 90 to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon that's got any damage counters on it. And I'm just going to tell you right off the bat, this is really good. Now, there are a few things going in its favour. Obviously, we got Electric Generator at the moment, which a bunch of decks are using to accelerate lightning energy, because it's really good at accelerating lightning energy. And we've got Flaffy as well that can accelerate lightning energy, and that's one of the big things here. You can accelerate energy rather nicely, rather easily, jobs are good'un. So that is a huge bonus. We like this. This is awesome. But also, 120 to the active is fine. It's one of those, if you're hitting for weakness, you'll probably get a 1-hit KO. Otherwise, you're probably going for a 2-hit KO. And you're not quite getting a KO on stuff like Lugia, for instance, the V-Star. However, all you need to do is whack a choice belt on there and you will. So damage-wise, you're doing good. The 90 to the bench is incredibly nice. Really good for finishing off Pokemon. We've got good energy acceleration and it's got free retreat to boot. I really like Zapdos. I'm giving Zapdos 4 Wassies. I think this card is genuinely like proper job legit. I don't think it's a deck in and of itself. I think it's probably going to be played in Miraidon decks, for instance. But in a Miraidon deck, this is just generally brilliant. So, yeah. Go team, ladies and gentlemen. Go team. I like this one very much indeed. But we got the others, so we should probably have a look at them as well. So, in terms of Moltres, we've got discard 2 fire energy from this Pokemon, and you deal 120 anywhere? No, I'm lying to you. It is specifically only to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. This cannot hit the active. That's actually really important. But you get to do 120 to the bench. 120 to the bench is good. The problem is we don't have as good energy acceleration here. You've got Magma Basin, which is nice, but you've still got to get that third energy on, which incidentally is probably deliberate. As a turn 1 attack, this would be awesome, but you're not really pulling it off turn 1. It's going to be a turn 2 kind of thing, and it's fine. Like, if you need something in fire decks to hit the bench, this will do, but whereas I think Zapdos is genuinely quite great, this is decent if you're playing a fire deck. And then Articuno for free water energy does 110 damage, plus 10 to all of your opponent's bench Pokemon. And, I mean, look, one of the themes as we look through these has been, hey, don't forget energy acceleration is important, and hey, don't forget that Baxcalibur is a thing, which will let you attach as much water energy as you like. So, there's always that. And look, if you're playing a deck with Baxcalibur anyway, yeah, not bad. Only the illustration rare has been officially revealed in English, so that's why we're using that one. The regular we've not actually seen the reveal of. But my point is, we've got energy acceleration. If you're playing a water deck anyway, this one is fine. It's not great, but bitter spread while having a single energy attacker, I've seen worse. I do think Zapdos is the star of the birds, and it's the best one, let's face it. But the others are kind of cool. But I think the star of this video, and the other two are really good as well. The other three, with 3 colourless cards, they're all really good. But Ditto's absolutely ridiculous. 60 HP basic. You may use this ability once during your first turn if this Pokemon is in the active spot. Choose a basic Pokemon other than Ditto from your deck. Discard this Pokemon and all cards attached to it. And put the Pokemon you chose in its place. Yeah, this is absolutely phenomenal. Like, genuinely full-on phenomenal. And I'll explain it like this. How many times have you not had the right starting Pokemon and that has cost you the game? Ditto fixes that. How many times have you said something along the lines of, I wish I could play a 5th copy of this basic Pokemon? Well, now you can. Now, to be fair, it's not really a 5th copy because you've still only got 4 copies in your deck. What I mean is, let's say you really want to start with Comfey. You are playing a Lost Box deck, and you really want to start with Comfey. It's incredibly important. That is your starting Pokemon. We'll play 4 Comfey and 4 Ditto. Now, I know the Lost Zone decks probably aren't going to find space for 4 Comfey and 4 Ditto. Not the point, ladies and gentlemen, not the point. The point is, if you really want to find your Comfey turn 1, you play 4 Comfey, and you play 4 Ditto. And if you start with Comfey, you've got Comfey. And if you start with Ditto, you've got Comfey. And that is what is so amazing about this card. That's why this card is great. And one of the reasons I use Lost Box as an example here, that's a deck that's going to be playing a bunch of switching cards. Because sure, each Ditto can only use this once. But if you've got multiple Ditto, you can switch around and use this multiple times. Basically what we've got here is a card which is going to make it way more likely that you have got the starting Pokemon you want to have to begin the game. That is huge, ladies and gentlemen. That is absolutely huge. Play it in a Gardevoir deck to make sure you've got routes in the early game so that you can then start evolving them up in turn 2. Just an example. And I know some decks are not going to find space for Ditto. Some are going to put 1, some are going to put 4, some are going to say they don't have space. That's not the point of Ditto. The point of Ditto is any deck can play it, and if you can make space in your deck, this will give you a much better chance of starting with the right basic Pokemon. This is huge and legit and fantastic and phenomenal. This is an easy 5 Wassy card. Like, absolutely no question, hands down 5 Wassy card. It is absolutely ridiculous. And don't forget, it gets cards from your deck, not your discard, so you don't need to worry about discarding them or anything like that. It's just brilliant. There is a very good chance this goes down as the best card from the set. I'm not even kidding. Get used to this card. This card's going to be awesome. And if it gets an artwork rare, an illustration rare, people are going to be after it. But there are a couple of other colourless Pokemon that have been revealed, including a lovely Chansey. So Chansey comes along here. Now, Free Energy 17 we're not even going to talk about. This is the effect I will admit I did have to use. The first time in the Scarlet and Violet era, I've really had to go and look at one of Antoine's translations. I'm a little bit sad about it. Although in my defence, I was trying to translate it while loading my kids into the car. So I was not exactly at full power. But what it does is if you take this Pokemon as a face-down prize card, got to be face down. If there's anything that lets you know what your prize cards are because they're face up, then it doesn't work. If your bench isn't full, before you put it into your hand, you may put it onto your bench, flip a coin. If heads, take 1 more prize card. So there's a lot going in here. A lot going in. You've got to take it as a prize card. it's got to be a face-down prize card, and even if you meet all of that, you've still got to go and hit heads as well. So, I'm not saying it's some kind of perfect card or anything silly like that, but it literally lets you cheat. It lets you cheat an extra prize card. And that's a good thing, ladies and gentlemen. That's a very, very good thing indeed. Now, if you know where the prize cards are, then you can potentially pick this up knowing it's going to be there. That is potentially an option. And I'm fairly sure Peonia works here. Because you put up to 3 prize cards in your hand, and then for each prize card you put in your hand in this way, put a card from your hand face down as a prize card. So, I'm pretty sure Peonia lets you basically, again, it's Saturday and all of that, so stop me if I'm being a dummy bear here, but I'm pretty sure Peonia lets you choose where you put the prize cards. So that means that you can essentially, if you've got Chansey in your hand, play Peonia, and then kind of guarantee you know where Chansey is to pick it up as a prize card. That seems good to me. Also, be on the lookout, because if we ever get a really good Blissey, this is going to be like the best random basic ever. Let's go ahead and give this one between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies, that would be barbaric. It seems like this is going to be more of a gimmick than anything else, but I kind of love it. Oh, as a side note, both Moltres and Articuno get 3 Wassies. They're fine, but they're not particularly special or amazing or anything along those lines. And that means we can finish off having a look at Snorlax. And I kind of... Snorlax is one of these ones that seemed a bit good, and I translated it myself, and I'm pretty sure I'm right about this. So what we got from Snorlax is... free energy, 130, 30 to itself. Let's not even talk about that. But what we've got is... once during your turn, you may use this ability. And basically what you can do is choose 2 leftovers in your trash, show them to your opponent, and add them to your hand. Simple. Basically, and it is 2, and it is definitely your hand. So, this is basically just a case of you've always got access at this stage to leftovers. Like, literally, this just gets you leftovers. Like, over and over and over and over again. Anytime leftovers hits the discard pile, and Snorlax doesn't have to be active or anything like that. It's just once during your turn, you can just grab a couple of leftovers from the discard pile. So that means that basically you've always got access to leftovers. Now, leftovers is not a stunning card. It's a tool whereby at the end of your turn, you heal 20, which is fine. It's all right. It basically does exactly what leftovers does in the game. When we looked at this before, I told you if you know it's leftovers and you see the 20, you know exactly what this card is going to do. It's going to heal 20 at the end of your turn. Thematically, it's wonderful. But I'm going to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, if you've got any inkling to run leftovers, and the healing is decent, and we are getting into a format where one-hit KOs are a lot less prevalent than they have been in the past, this basically guarantees you've always got leftovers on your active Pokemon. That's kind of awesome. I'm giving this one 4 Wassies. I really like this. Also, I've got to point out, Hayaganasuke artwork, man. You know by now, I hope at least, I love me some Hayaganasuke. And Snorlax is my second favourite Pokemon from Gen 1. First, incidentally, is Porygon. We'll wait to see what that one does later. So we've got and weirdly enough, Hayaganasuke is my second favourite artist after Okacheke. So we've got my second favourite artist doing my second favourite Gen 1 Pokemon. And it's actually kind of useful. This is cool. And I told you this was a big update at the beginning of the video. And as far as I'm concerned, Zapdos is a legit attacker in Lightning decks. Chansey is a fun gimmick. Snorlax could be really good for some decks with their healing. And Ditto is flat out busted and going to see playing a redonkulous amount of decks. This is big. And I've mentioned this in a couple of videos, but I do think it bears repeating here. This is it's a fun set. It is a nostalgia set. It's an extra set, a gimmick set, although I don't say that as a negative. This is not supposed to be a set which is full of good cards. And yet, everything we're seeing here is that this is like a genuinely, legitimately good set. And I am absolutely loving it. This is going to make a big competitive impact, and I am in for it. But I'm out of stuff to say about these cards. That's a lie. I could talk for another hour. But the video's gotten long enough, so now I want to hear from you guys. Tell me what you think about this. Tell me anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wasi. That's where we talk Pokemon, card games, all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join the Discord, all kinds of fun things. And get shoutouts on the channel like the lovely Dojo, although it's spelled like dough, like donuts, and I kind of love that name. So yeah, our newest Patreon, hopefully a lovely person. Shout out to them for the support. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.